Understanding USB Plugs by Hewie Poplock. I am Hewie's AI friend, Edward Peters. Hewie's voice is still weak, and he asked me to fill in. In one of Hewie's recent meetings, several questions came up about which USB cable should be used. We are going to try to answer that in this session. What is a USB plug? USB, or Universal Serial Bus. Its role is a standard connector for transferring both data and power. It replaced older, bulkier connectors, making devices more compatible and easier to use. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, a standard way to connect devices to computers and other electronics. It is used for transferring data and supplying power between devices. It supports many connector shapes, Type A, Type B, Type C, Micro, Mini. Its speeds range from USB 1.0 12 microbits per second to USB 4, 40 gigabits per second. It powers and connects devices like keyboards, mice, flash drives, printers, cameras, phones, and more. It is designed for ease of use, plug-and-play, and broad compatibility. Here are many of the USB plugs. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. It's the standard connection used for both transferring data and providing power between devices. On this slide, you can see two arrows, one for data, one for power. The data arrow shows how USB is used to send information between devices like from a keyboard, mouse, flash drive, or camera to your computer. The power arrow represents how USB also delivers electricity to charge or run those same devices. This dual function, carrying both data and power, is what makes USB so convenient and widely used. Whether you're connecting a printer, transferring photos, charging your phone, or using an external hard drive, USB is the connection that makes it possible. Over the years, USB has evolved to support faster speeds, more power, and smaller, reversible connectors like USB-C. But the basic concept has stayed the same. One cable that can do both data and power. Here is a timeline of the evolution of USB plugs. It was first introduced in 1998. Was introduced in 2014 alongside USB 3.1, but it can work with multiple versions. Undin got confusing after USB 3.0. For example, USB 3.1 Gen 1 is basically USB 3.0. RO forward compatibility is a core feature. New USB ports usually work with older devices, but at the older speed. Here are the common USB types. USB-A, the classic rectangular plug found on most computers and chargers. USB-B, a squarish connector often used for printers and some external hard drives. USB-C, small reversible plug used on many modern phones, laptops, and tablets. USB can be used for power, USB can be used for data, USB can be used for both power and data. USB can work in three ways. Power only, like using a wall charger for your phone or fan. Data only, rare but used in special cables for testing or blocking power. Power plus data, the most common, such as when a USB hard drive both runs and transfers files. The mode depends on the cable and device combination. USB is everywhere, charging phones, connecting a mouse or keyboard, or moving photos from a camera. It's part of our daily routine, and a USB hub lets us plug in several devices at once. This is a 16-port powered hub, great for connecting many devices at once. Always check that a hub supports the speed and plug types you need. This one has USB-C, USB-A, smart charging ports, and a strong power adapter, so it can handle multiple devices without slowing down. Here's the layout. 2 USB-C 3.0 ports, 4 USB-A 3.0 ports, 5 USB-A 2.0 ports, 4 smart charging ports. This mix lets you connect both new and older devices. Common USB connectors. USB Type A, the classic flat plug used for charging, data transfer, and connecting peripherals. Speeds vary depending on the version. Micro USB, small with wings, common on older phones and small gadgets. Mostly USB 2.0 speeds. Mini USB, slightly larger, once popular in cameras and MP3 players. USB 2.0 speeds. Apple Lightning Slim reversible plug for iPhones, iPads, non-USB-C, and iPods. used for charging, data, and sometimes video. USB Type-C, oval and reversible, used in modern devices, supports fast charging, high-speed data, and video output. Here are the micro USB plug and the mini USB plug. Here is an example of a wall plug. Be sure to choose the one that will do the job for you. It will support the wattage that you need and is fast charging. When ordering cables, be sure that it is the cable that you want. This is a reminder of all of the USB choices. Some cables come with a wattage display, so you know what power you are getting. You can get cables with built-in adapters, but remember that the speeds can only be as fast as the slowest plug. There are so many choices of adapters and end cables. Be sure to order exactly the item that you want. If you are ordering a USB stick, many of our users recommend sticks with 2 types of connectors. Be sure to read the specs to be sure that you get the fastest data transfers available for your devices. This graphic explains how to spot USB 3X plugs and ports. First, the visual clues. USB 3X Type A connectors have extra pins, 9 total compared to the 4 found in USB 2.0. You'll often see a blue plastic insert inside the port, which is a common indicator of USB 3.0 or newer, though color isn't always guaranteed. From the outside, the shape looks the same as older USB ports. Next, labeling. Many USB 3.x ports and cables are marked with SS, which stands for super speed. If you see just SS, that's typically USB 3.0 at 5 gigabits per second. SS10 indicates USB 3.1 with speeds up to 10 gigabits, and SS20 means USB 3.2 at 20 gigabits. Finally, if you're unsure, check your computer's device manager. Under Universal Serial Bus Controllers, you can see whether your system has USB 3.0, 3.1, or 3.2 host controllers, which confirm the speed capabilities of your ports. So, between looking at the pins, color, labeling, and system specs, you can figure out exactly what type of USB 3X you're dealing with. USB types. Overview. USB has evolved over the years with different connector shapes, speeds, and power capabilities. USB 1X, the oldest standard, very slow at 12 megabits per second, but still works with basic devices like mice and keyboards. USB, a big step up to 480 Mbps, common for flash drives, webcams, and older phones. USB 3X, much faster, 5 to 20 GB SES, often marked with blue or teal ports, used for external hard drives, SSDs, and hubs. Uses the USB 4, supports up to 40 GB SES, high power delivery, and Thunderbolt compatibility. USB-C, the modern universal connector, reversible, speeds from 480 megabits to 40 Gbps, supports high wattage charging. Micro USB, once popular for phones and accessories, now being replaced by USB-C. Key takeaway: USB-C and USB 4 are the current standards for speed, power, and convenience, but older types are still widely in use. New 24 USB 3.0, 3.1, and 3.2 can look almost identical, but there are a few clues. Type A connectors often have 5 pins instead of 4 and are slightly deeper. They're usually blue inside and may be labeled SS or 3.0. Same appearance as 3.0 for Type A, but Type C versions are reversible. Labels may read SS or SS10. USB 3.2 looks the same as 3.1, with performance being the only difference. Labels may say SS10 or SS20. Tip: if you see blue plastic inside a Type A port, it's generally USB 3.0 or newer. USB speed designations. Some USB-C cables will also have labels like 10 gigabits for USB 4. USB plugs connect and power our devices every day. Knowing the different types and their uses helps you make smarter choices and avoid frustration. Next time you reach for a cable, you'll know exactly what you're looking at. Understanding USB Plugs by Hewie Poplock, narrated by Edward Peters.